We named this one Brewers. It's all it is an inside linebacker plug. In the in the Dave Randa family, it's Tebow, which is usually ran to the tight end. We don't ever change where we run this pressure by the name. So what we can do is when we call Brewers, we can run that anywhere we want. We can run it to the strong side, we can run it to the weak side, to the H-back, to the tailback, and they can be added to the call. We could call Brewers H, we're running it to the H-back. I can just call Brewers to the right, and they run it to the right. I can call Brewers strong, and they're going to run it to our strength. So we keep that one name. Here's what the defensive line should know. When they hear Brewers, one defensive lineman is going to play base technique. He is going to play vice. The nose is listening for a call that's going to send him to the right side. Now, it is not like the slant call, which would send him out to the hip of the guard. All we're going to do is give him a call with some type of R and L to it that tells him that now, instead of playing head-up technique, instead of striking the center and work to the gap, he is going to, so here he's getting a call with an R word that's going to tell him to step initially to the right shoulder of the center. We give this defensive end an out call, or an Oscar or an Olly or something with an O, telling him now that he is going outside. We believe this helps two things. It speeds up. Now, this linebacker is blitzing the face of the guard. So we talk a ton about blitz technique. I got this from Glenn Schumann. We talked to him about getting a Z in his knees, pushing his knees out over his toes, getting up on the balls of his feet, trying to time it up and rolling off the line of scrimmage. Very similar, if you teach sprinting, that's how you teach a sprinter. Where if we're in our linebacker stance, we're a little bit more balanced, we're reading, we know where we're going. I tell them in Brewers, you're the three technique, you're the defensive tackle. So make sure that you've changed your stance enough where you can be explosive and get off that ball. We are going to read the guard. If the guard is down, we are chasing his outside hip. If the guard is out, we are chasing his inside hip. If the guard is at us, we will work inside of that block. The 4-eye is going to step with the O call, Oscar, Olly, any of those. He's going to step now to the outside pad of the tackle. This speeds up the fit for the linebackers. A lot of what we've been talking about, these linebackers are not necessarily playing slow, but they're playing under control. They're stacking and fitting to their gaps. This call allows them to hit that gap more downhill. It changes the pace for the offensive lineman to where that offensive lineman is used to this guy hanging back, and I can go collect him. Now, he's going to force the issue, and it helps this defensive end because it puts some doubt in the mind of that offensive tackle. If 3 or 4 plays in a row, that offensive tackle here has been down blocking on that 4-eye. If he's not bigger and stronger than him, that's going to be a tough night. If I make this call and I step outside and allow this guy to olay this block, that slows him down the next time he's in a 4-eye. So to me, like this is a quintessential call. If you're going to run this defense, you're going to play double 4-eyes. To me, the next thing you have to install is this backer plug. So all we're getting right here, we've got Brewers to the H-back. So initially, we would have ran it with the H here. The H moves. You can see us communicating. The linebacker, he's going to come downhill. He gets a puller. We chase a puller. We do not allow the first guy to read out on this pressure. I think when you teach Tebow, you do the teaching points. If you've ever listened to Chris Vassar talk about that with the tight front, some people will allow this guy to read out on the initial on a pull. We want to get off so hard and so fast downhill that we are almost going to play behind the line of scrimmage and backdoor those pulls. So this is something that we drill. I drill it pretty much with those inside linebackers every day for 5 minutes. And when we do our drill sessions, I'll go over that. But you can see he's going to roll. He's got knees are over. His shoulders are more forward. he's going to roll downhill, he gets the puller, he leans his shoulder, and he runs out to play the buck. It helps, number one, the defensive end, because now we sit here with an exposed C gap. With him stepping out, now we address that C gap. Once again, the next time we line up in vice, they don't know 100% that we're just going to sit there in four eyes and play all day. It allows him now, he olays that, the H-back has to block him on the buck sweep. Now the crack block has to work all the way back to the other inside linebacker. The coaching point with the opposite linebacker, if flow comes away from the Brewers call, you are playing base technique. You are playing vice, you're playing clamp, you're going to get downhill, get as tight as you can to the nearest defensive lineman, get knocked back on the puller. If you get flow at all to the side of the Brewers call, you should be able to fast float. He's going to stay and play vice. He's going to step and take this A gap. He should penetrate and come inside. We should be able to now really fast flow over the top and get over and add ourselves to that side. We love this call versus gap scheme if we can get a read on. So right now we see that this guard is sitting light, this guard's sitting heavy, the H is tucked up here. We know pretty much before the ball is snapped, we're getting power here to the left. Now, I think there's two schools of thought. You can call this to the H to try to dent the power, to try to get knocked back, to not allow these guys, if they were to go down, he goes out, you can get a run through, take out the puller, or, which I think for us, we feel like with versus gap scheme, we would love to bring some pressure away from it and run it down from behind. So I think that's what we get right here. You get him running through, even though the center, now of course we're not in pads and it's a little scout team center, he dips his shoulder and he's able to get through. The guard should be stepping down and check for this nose, but he's determined he's going to double team this 4-eye, and now they leave the nose unblocked also. Number two here gets flow to him. He's playing base technique. He's going to get as tight as he can to that defensive end. He's going to get downhill, try to get knocked back on the puller, and be ready to make that play. Let's go to a couple of game clips. This is a great 1st and 10 call if you've got an RPO or a play action team. 1st and 10, 2nd and 5, those par downs. It's not a great play in and play out passing pressure because they've got enough to pick it up. You're running in right into the teeth. They may pick you up with the offensive lineman, but with a play action, they're not expecting this guy. They're expecting one of these to daylight rush. They're not expecting him to come through. Yeah, the center bangs back on him, but he's already through the line of scrimmage. He's dipped his shoulder, and now we get a sack. So, they've got a drive going. They're near midfield. It's 1st and 10. It's a tie ball game, and we get a sack right here and put them behind the sticks. So it really works out well as a pressure for RPO and play action situations just because it speeds up the fit for that inside linebacker. Here you can see we're calling it to the back in the zone scheme. What we're trying to do here by calling it to the back, we're going to chase the hip of that guard. That tackle is coming to block the linebacker. As the guard goes down, we penetrate and we cut the play off. Now, I would like for this linebacker as he goes to play back on this, but we still have a safety in the fit. They're at 11 personnel. They've got a tight end. They motion here, so we've got a safety to bring on down in here, but we think we do a really good job of cutting the play off. The nose goes here. It shouldn't hit here, but I would like for that linebacker, I need to coach him a little bit better, but it speeds up the fit. That tackle is trying to get a double team on that 4-eye. He is not that guard, he is not expecting that linebacker to hit that gap.